Hi, my name is Antonio Rocha, and this is the TreeHouse Storytelling Show. It is always good practice to learn please and thank you in the language of the country where you're going to. It is a great way to make a new friend. People love seeing somebody visiting their country making an effort to say please and thank you in that language. So, for example, in Brazil, where I grew up, we speak Portuguese. And Portuguese is also spoken in Portugal, in Angola, in Mozambique. So you can say por favor, for please, and if you're a boy thanking somebody, you say obrigado, and if you're a girl thanking somebody, you say obrigada. And people love hearing somebody try their language. And if you make a mistake, you can have a laugh together and even make a new friend. Our story today is set in Europe, right here, north of Africa and the Mediterranean Sea. Europe is a small continent, but it packs a punch. It has 48 countries and lots of languages, castles everywhere, small cities surrounded by walls. It is a fun place to visit. I've been there many times, both for fun and for work, which is also very much a fun experience as a storyteller. Your geographical adventure assignment today is to locate the Danube River. The Danube is a beautiful river and it cuts through many countries across Europe. So I'd love for you to find where it starts, where it ends, and look at all the countries that the river flows through. All right? Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the story. Once, there is an adorable village surrounded by a great wall. The wall was tall, the wall was thick, and there was a huge gate that opened and closed whenever it was necessary. Kids played outside all the time. They played with mud, they climbed trees, they tossed balls back and forth. It was a great time. But one day that they were playing outside, when they felt something shaking, the ground was shaking. There was a sound coming from underground. There was no earthquake. It had a rhythm to it. So they went home to tell their parents, but their parents were already feeling it. Something was happening. Things now were shaking and falling off the walls. And so they grabbed the kids and they went to the village square. That's where everybody went when they needed to talk about something. Yes, everybody was there and the ground was still shaking, this time harder. And there's a louder noise coming from underground too. Listen, everybody, let's keep calm. Do not open the gate. I think it's coming from out there. Another villager brought in a tall ladder and placed it against the wall, and he climbed that wall to see what was coming towards the village. For now, everybody believed something was coming. Not from underground, but from beyond the village walls. I'll tell when I get up there. He got to the very top of the wall, and when he looked, what he saw coming towards the village turned his face pale as a ghost, and he whipped his head around and told his villagers, there is a, what is it? Come on, tell us, what do you see? There is a, what is it? There is a giant is coming. And when the people heard the word giant, they grabbed their kids and they ran home as fast as they could. And the kids could not even keep up with the grown-ups. They were like, wah! Little kids were flying like kites. When they got home, they tossed the kids inside and kids were bouncing off the walls. No, they're not bouncing off the wall. And then they shut the doors, and for the very first time, they're all inside. and everything was shaking. They're holding on to one another, for the giant was coming. Some said this giant had hair like a thunderstorm. Others said his eye sockets were so deep you couldn't see his eyeballs in there. Others said his nose had long hair sticking out with boogers dangling from them. Others said that his chest was so big and hairy you need a flashlight to walk in there. Others said that his belly button was this big and 2 hairy spiders lived in there, and they would crawl out when he was taking a nap and go over and clean his lips after he had meals. His thighs were like Pacific Northwest tree trunks, and his feet smelled like rotten fish. And the giant was coming, one gigantic step after another, when all of a sudden all the villagers heard something very familiar. It was the old rusted hinges of that gate. Somebody was opening the gate. But it was not the giant, for the giant was still walking. They could feel the steps of the giant, but the gate was opening. And some of the villagers who lived near the gate, when they looked out the windows, they saw a little boy. And then some said it was a little girl. A little girl is opening the gate. A little boy is opening the gate. Well, it was not a grown-up, so I say it was a kid, okay? You know, people remember things differently, but it was not an adult. It was a kid opening the gate. And when the kid saw the giant, the kid went like this. And the kid started walking towards the giant. And the giant was coming towards the kid. And the kid was walking towards the giant. And the giant was coming towards the kid. And the kid was walking towards the giant. And the giant was coming towards the kid, when all of a sudden, that giant started to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's very strange, because the giant was supposed to get bigger and bigger as you get closer to it. But in this case, as that child got closer to the giant started to look more and more like a regular person. And then it kept getting smaller still. And by the time the child got to that giant, the giant was only this big. You know what the kid did? Yeah, some said that the kid kicked. No, the kid did not kick the giant. No, the kid didn't step on the giant. The kid reached down and picked the giant ever so gently.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Fear. F-E-A-R. And that's the end of that story. Oh, I have something for you here. Well, that concludes yet another installment of the TreeHouse Storytelling Show. Loads of health. Thank you for watching, and until next time.